How to focus on the basics in wholesaling. Guys, my name is Ginn, and in this specific video, I'm going to teach you how to overcome complicating wholesaling, and I'm going to give you specific strategies I've used in my wholesaling career, especially if you've ever been overwhelmed or confused or just lost, and I'm going to show you how to focus and actually get stuff done and the things I did over my 20-year career. But before I get into it, do me a favor, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button to continue to receive the best information available on wholesaling to date. Talking about basics, the key to anything, if you ever feel overwhelmed, if you feel it's super complicated and it just overtakes you, is first thing is, number one, you're normal. It happens to everyone. Number two, take a deep breath and go back to the basics. What do I mean by that? When you're being overwhelmed and you get frustrated, it means you're trying too many things and you're trying terribly, desperately hard to make them work. I've been in there. And so whenever you feel completely frustrated and you're not getting anywhere, it is the signal, it is the bell going off in your head saying you've got to go back to basics. So how do you go back to basics? The simplest analogy is think about any type of sport. I don't care if it's soccer, football, basketball, baseball, whatever it is. Whenever the coach has a problem with you, and these are sports coaches, not guru coaches, because they typically give you bad advice, they're going to take one specific task and have you master it. So, for example, if a defensive player in football is struggling to tackle people, what happens? They're overwhelming themselves with the play, which way they got to move, the speed, the angle they have to take. And a good coach will go, listen, we're going to focus on this dummy here, whatever it is, and we're going to teach you how to tackle. And until you tackle that dummy right, we are not going to stop this task. You're going to do the same thing in wholesaling. And if you guys are in that phase right now and you just feel overwhelmed, let me teach you how to go back to the basics. And I've done this just about every day for the last 20 years. And the more you focus on the basics in wholesaling, the better you're going to do. The minute you start to try to overwhelm yourself with complicated tasks and like the latest, greatest trick coming out, you are buying yourself a one-way ticket to frustration, and you've got to get out of it. So let me give you an example. The best way I can teach you is real life experiences. I had a seller a few years ago, and I like to give examples closer to when I was starting out in wholesaling. She contacted me off of, I want to say it was a Bandit sign, and she had a house in Port St. Lucie she wanted to sell. So I went on an appointment and visited her, and I was overwhelmed with the amount of cats she had. She had like 45 cats. The house, without telling you, is just like a giant kitty litter box. And it was terrible. It was so bad I had to go outside the house and try to talk to her because I was overwhelmed. She wanted a crazy amount for the house. I told her I can't even get close to that. What I did is I kind of got overwhelmed, and I remember back to the basics. How can I take care of the seller and help them out? And all I did, instead of getting overwhelmed with the transaction, I switched into a mode of how can I help the seller out? And once I went from a place of helping her out, I actually wound up getting a deal. It took some time, but my initial reaction was like, this is crazy. It's overwhelming. I can't make this work. Once I started saying, listen, I asked the seller, what is your biggest concern about selling the house? And her concern was the cats. She said she can't handle them all. They're mostly feral cats. I said, how can I help you? So I spent 6 months helping her find homes for that cat. I had no idea if I was going to get paid. Honestly, all I did was come from a place of help. And over that 6 months, I developed a relationship with her. And I remember towards the end of 6 months, we got rid of about 22 cats. And she felt like she made progress, but it was still hard. Her daughter reached out to me and said, listen, I think those cats are killing my mom. Can you help us construct an offer? My mom really trusts you. You've really gone out of your way and help her. I said, absolutely. I go, but the price your mom wants for the house, I can't get near it. She goes, no, let's sit down and talk. So after about a month of negotiation, I wound up buying her property for the land value of the house because the house is in rough shape. And the bottom line is how I solidified the deal when not only did I help the seller out, when I brought her daughter in, when her daughter first contacted me, I didn't know if it was going to be a good thing or a bad thing. I said, you know what? Everybody needs some help. So we brought the daughter in to talk to the mom to like give her like reason of what she needs to sell the house for. And the daughter goes, she's coming to live with me. I want to get the house sold. We hemmed and hawed about the price. Like, well, here's what sealed the deal. You ready for this? I brought another bag of cat food just to show I cared about the cats. They took my offer. It was I think the offer was about $15,000. Okay. That's how bad the house was. My agreement was to help her up till the day she moved out to get the cats taken care of. Now, I got thrown a curveball. There was a field behind the house with like 5 to 50 more cats. And so I worked the deal out with animal control, the humane center and stuff like that to take care of these cats because nobody's there to feed them. The bottom line is I wound up making a ton of money on this house. And I started out frustrated. And when I got overwhelmed, I just went from a place of how can I help the seller out? And if you can just understand that is a basic function of what I teach you in wholesaling, whenever you get overwhelmed, narrow it down to 1, maybe 2 tasks, and you can overcome anything. I'm going to walk you through a series of basics that are required in wholesaling. And if you stick to these basics, there is no deal, there is no seller, there is no buyer that can completely overwhelm you. Let's go ahead and walk through them. So the basics we deal with in wholesaling is really locating motivated sellers. A lot of you are you're complaining, hey, I don't have enough deal flow. So that's it. Go to the basics. How do I find a motivated seller? If I just started today, where would I find a motivated seller? Are you going to find him in the grocery store? No. Are you going to find him at the end of a dock? No. The reality is you need to find a place where there's the most motivated sellers, and wherever there's smoke, there's usually going to be fire. Your job's to find the smoke. How do you do that? You accumulate lists. One of the easiest ways is just going after government lists. Why? Because where there's smoke, there's usually going to be fire. This is one of the easiest strategies for you to get started out. And the really killer part is it's 100% free. Now, you're going to have to work to get these lists, and you're going to get some resistance. It's up to you to overcome it with persistence. I would start with government lists. Once again, we're trying to locate motivated sellers. If you can break this simple task down and get it to the basics, you will do well. Try not to get cute and fancy with trying to locate these people. It's not that hard, okay? So the government list, you guys know the foreclosures, the eviction list, the tax delinquency list, the probate list, it goes on and on. Now, to add another level with it, keep it to the basics. How can I find a list of houses that are distressed and maybe I can match up some motivated sellers with it? The simplest thing is get in your car and do what we call driving for dollars. Just go out there and find ugly houses. Make a list. Guys, you can use dmzack.com and you can easily organize this information, or worst case, just use a yellow pad and write down the addresses. When I had a larger operation and we were frustrated with leads, I'd have everybody in the office go out and do driving for dollars. And everybody was responsible for a minimum of 100 leads. So if we had 5 people in the office at the time, which was the average, we would come in with 500 leads, and you could see the excitement in everyone's level. It's like sometimes you have to go out and chase the leads. Get your government list. Do it. That's where you're going to find smoke and fire. We're motivated sellers. If you guys really want to charge and like get a faster response time, go out and do the driving for dollars. Guys, if you are struggling finding deals, do not blame everybody else. Do not feel the guilty conscience. Fix it. How do you fix it? Get back to the basics. Get your government list, look for that motivation, and then get in your car, get in your bike, get on your running shoes, and go out and do the driving for dollars. Guys, it's really basic. I know it's not sexy, but this stuff works. The second phase of going back to the basics in wholesaling is connecting with your motivated sellers. So now you've located your motivated sellers, and honestly, you can master that task and do nothing else. Once you get there, now you have to focus on connecting with them. And if you guys don't know how to do it, go over to freewholesaling.com. We teach you how to build rapport, how to do all this stuff. And this is the key. You have to get a deep connection to get a really good wholesaling deal. How do you get a deep connection? Well, number one, you make sure you qualify your sellers. Use the MCTP. We teach it over at freewholesaling.com. And once you do that, work through and build rapport. How do you build rapport? You have conversations. Okay, you can't just go off of scripts. You need to have deep conversations that connect, because when you have deep connecting conversations, sellers lower their guard and they tell you the truth, what's going on. And that's how you get great wholesaling deals. If you treat it like a transaction and it's, I want X amount of dollars, he or she wants X amount of dollars, you're nothing more than a realtor and a transactor. You need to connect with them on a personal level. How do I do that? It's about building rapport. Look at pictures on the wall, connect with their family, connect with hobbies they like, connect with sports they like, connect with leaders they like. I don't care what it is, guys. If you don't figure out how to get that deep connection, you are really going to struggle with this piece. find out the connection that you can get with them. Without this connection part, I promise you, which is the basics of wholesaling, you will never get a good deal. Okay? You are not paid to be a ridiculous salesman. You're really, your level of compensation is how deep you can connect with people, and the deeper you connect with them, the easier it is. Think about friends. Why do friends want to do business with friends? Because it's easy. You have that connection. Part of this too is your confidence. Okay? And confidence comes from connecting with people. The more people you can connect with, the more confidence you're going to exude. And whoever has the highest confidence level in a wholesaling transaction is typically going to get the best outcome. Now, your confidence is dependent upon you building that relationship because your seller is going to lean on you for the confidence. So the only way to get that confidence is really connect and get a strong connection with your seller. This is crucial to getting great wholesale deals. Okay, number 3, I alluded on earlier, is helping the seller. If you come from a position of just helping people out, especially in properties you are overwhelmed, I'm here to tell you, here's the big secret to wholesaling. All we are is solving problems, okay? Actually, wholesaling has little to do with real estate. The real estate is just a math problem. The reality is you're helping humans solve problems. The real estate is just a symptom. So if you know that, if you can figure out how to solve someone's problem, like I gave you the example with the cat lady, you can do any deal, okay? You might have to learn how to do the paperwork and the timing and the funding and however it goes. And remember, we teach all that at freewholesaling.com. You can do anything in wholesaling. Your main purpose is to help sellers solve problems. How do you do that? You get to know them on a personal basis. You connect with your motivated sellers, and then you start problem solving. And think outside the box, guys, because you are unlimited with the amount of tools. If you go with the seller from a position, I want to help you out, even if I don't buy your house, you will open up so many doors in the wholesaling space, and you will do rock solid wholesaling deals. This is a basic skill set, guys. Be a problem solver. Don't let the real estate get in the way of you helping people solve problems. That's how you connect. That's how you get great deals. Number 4, okay, we're talking about basics. You have to be the difference maker. What do I mean by that? If a seller meets with 3 or 4 wholesalers, be the person that sticks out. The best way to stick out is go through the 3 previous steps I told you before by, first of all, locating them, by second of all, really connecting with them, and third, being a problem solver. Just be the unique person that stands out. Now, how do you be unique? This is the easy part. Just be yourself. Stop trying to be every guru on the face of the earth. We don't need anymore. I need you to be you. Use your highest and best skill set. And if you don't know what it is, it's your unique God gift that was given to you by God. So if you don't know it, ask your kids. They always know what your superpower is. Maybe you're funny. Maybe you're just very charismatic. Maybe you have the natural ability to connect with people, whatever it is. I'm good at connecting with people, and use whatever your strength, use it to your advantage. If you're a highly analytical person, that can work too, but you got to find a way to connect with people. So use your God-given talent, your unique thing to be the difference maker, and make sure if they met with 3 people, they met with 10 people, like, I got to call Rick back. And I get that a lot. Like, honestly, be the most excitable, fun person in the room, crack jokes, do whatever you got to do. Remember, you are dealing with human emotions. Most of the people you're dealing with are going to make an emotional decision, and you have to be the difference maker to do it. Even the logical ones, even the ones out of fear. Be that difference maker. Make sure you make a memorable impression on the positive side and not the negative. Number 5, this is a real back to basics. Do what you say you're going to do. If you're going to lie to your sellers, you are going to have a problem keeping up with track with your lies, and it's going to create problems for you. Simply do what you say you're going to do. That's it. Like, I don't need to complicate this. It is a basic function, and you'd be surprised how many real estate investors, wholesalers, whatever you want to call them, don't do what they just say they're going to do. By doing what you say you're going to do, you live up to your reputation and you build confidence and trust with your seller. And honestly, if you're not going to do what you say, I don't want you in wholesaling. If you say you're going to do something, you give a deadline and a date, make sure you're going to do it. If you say you're going to follow up in 2 days, make sure you follow up in 2 days. Your word is really all you have on this earth. And honestly, if you break it with your seller, it will completely ruin all the steps we did before this. Do what you say you're going to do. Okay, my last one is number 6 in basics. And this is about accountability. And this isn't going to be the normal conversation I have with you. I'm here to tell you, so many of you guys are looking for other people to be accountable to. You're looking for coach, you're looking for gurus, you're looking for masterminds to make you accountable. Here's the secret to wholesaling. At some point, you are going to have to be accountable to yourself. You know why? Because you can't run and hide from yourself. And the truth is, if you haven't been accountable with yourself, just recognize it and fix it. You have to deal with yourself 24/7. You have a million thoughts going on in your head. The most important person you can be accountable is yourself, okay? Nobody wants to lie to themselves, okay? So how do I prevent that? Make yourself accountable. So if your goal was to do X amount of deals by this time, make yourself accountable. Make sure you do all the tasks, the number of phone calls, the number of door knocking, the driving for dollars, whatever it is, direct mail is. Make sure you are accountable to yourself. Too many of you guys rely on someone else to make you accountable, and you pay for that service. And the reality in the end, if you can learn to make yourself accountable, that is what's going to make real strides in your life. Look to yourself for accountability, and you'll look at wholesaling completely different. And sometimes you don't measure up to the goal set, and that's fine. Make adjustments and move forward. But if you think you can go to a third party to make you accountable, it doesn't work that way. At the end of the day, you have to deal with yourself, and you have to be honest and tell yourself the truth. And if you're not on course, correct it. The sooner you can do this, the faster you can make headway. So many of you guys rely on the internet, social media, Facebook, YouTube to try to help you right the ship. You need to rely on yourself. Be accountable to yourself and watch the progress you make. I'm going to kind of leave you with this. So you've always heard people like, we've all gotten this situation where you kind of go in like a downward spiral. It's like, oh no. Okay. So I just gave you 6 steps, honestly, to completely prevent that. And if you have any type of frustrations, review back to this video on these 6 steps. These 6 steps have got me through 20 plus years in wholesaling, and it works. And whenever I got spun, I started breaking these 6 rules. So if you can follow these 6 rules, it will always keep you on track in wholesaling. I promise you, there's a million things to distract you and take you off. These 6 principles are 20 years time tested, and I'm telling you, it'll work. You all know what a negative downward spiral is. You do one bad thing and it just keeps spinning down, and like before you hit rock bottom. I'm here to tell you, if you focus on the basics in wholesaling, you can actually change it, and you can do what we call an upward spiral. Remember, one extra phone call connects you with one more motivated seller that you personally connect with and get a deep connection. You get an absolutely great deal. That great deal puts more money in your bank account, explodes your confidence. Your confidence leads to more deals. You spend more time, more money on marketing, and before you know it, you're flipping 10 or 15 houses when you just started with the goal of doing one. Now you got $100,000 in your bank account. Guys, that story I just told you was my first year of wholesaling. And how did I get there? I focused on the 6 basics. And you need to create that upward spiral, because I'm telling you, it's for real. It has to build momentum in the beginning, but when it goes, it takes off and it explodes. So I went from 1 deal to 10 deals to 15 deals. I thought when I hit 100, it was amazing. I thought when I hit 1,000 was amazing. 2,000, I was blown away. 3,000, guys, I've learned I never run out of deals. You know why? Because I always stick to the basics. I'm always here to help people and connect with people, make myself accountable, and constantly hunt and connect with motivated sellers. Use these 6 principles. They work out well. And here's the best part is, when you're in a downward pressure market like we're going through now, the basics are even more important. It's like everything. The really cool thing about it is the truth and the center focus of wholesaling is now coming out. Why? Because the market is adjusting. We have massive amount of changes, and now you got to stick to the core philosophy. Why do you think people that trade stocks and bonds, stuff like that, they always have their core discipline, and they always go back to it when they have a bad market? There's no difference in wholesaling. Stick to these 6 core principles. You will create an upward spiral, and before you know it, you will completely change your life. Guys, I don't know where I'd be without wholesaling. It resonates with me. I feel like I owe this business so much, and I want you to enjoy the same experience I've had with it. If you stick to these 6 principles, I guarantee you will get there. So guys, let me know in the comments if you subscribe to these 6 basics to get you through wholesaling and what maybe you would possibly add to it. I love it. I've been doing this 20 years, going on 21 years. I want to share my experiences with you. And honestly, if I can save you just from making one mistake, I feel like I've done my job today. Do me a favor. If you love this video, make sure you smash that like button. You hit that subscribe button. Put comments below. I love to read them, guys. This is Rick Ginn, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.